Good day, everyone. Welcome to our online learning discussion. This is your subject, English as a Second Language, Mateum 6/3 and 6/4. Your teacher here is Michelle Joy. Let's proceed to our online learning discussion now. So class, before we begin with our online learning discussion, I would like us to have a short recap or review of the last topics that we have discussed. And it's about sequencing, which is putting the events in a story in the order in which they happened. So in sequencing class, we use transition words. Use transitions to show how events took place over time. So we have these transition words. First, next, then, lastly, finally, later, eventually, at last, meanwhile, in the meantime, meanwhile, in the end, suddenly, before long, all of a sudden, the next day, afterward, as soon as, over time. So this was the topic we have discussed last week. Class, for the objectives of our lesson for this week, they are the following. Number one, students must be able to know what an idiom is. And number two, students must be able to know different idiomatic expressions. So class, at the end of our online learning discussion, I am hoping that you already know what idiom is and idiomatic expressions. So class, for our topics this week, it's about idioms and idiomatic expressions. So these are the words to learn. Please repeat after me so you can still practice your reading skills and your speaking skills even if you're just at home. Are you ready now? Let's start reading. Number one, idioms. Number two, idiomatic expression. Number three, phrase. Number four, important. And number five, conversation. Now let's study or read the meaning of these words one by one because these five words are going to help us understand our topics for today. Idiom means phrase, dialect, jargon, vernacular, parlance, language, lingo, patois, expression, and speech. Idiom class is usually used by American people. It is actually a phrase or a sentence that doesn't really mean what it says. So I'm going to show you examples later on. Number two, idiomatic expression. So when you say idiomatic expression, it is a fixed expression that has a figurative meaning, which means you cannot infer its meaning based on the words that comprise it. It has a meaning different from the dictionary definition of the individual words. Next is phrase. So synonyms for phrase, expression, idioms, locutions, languages, and slogans. So class, phrase are a group of words that doesn't have a complete thought. Next is important. When you say important, it means significant, momentous, crucial, critical, essential, vital, consequential, notable, weighty, and noteworthy. So when you say important class, it means it's very valuable or something that you are taking care of. Like for example, your studies, your families, okay? They are significant. Next word is conversation. Conversation means talk, discussion, chat, dialogue, conference, discourse, parley, confabulation, palaver, and colloquy. So class, when you say conversation, meaning to say people that are talking with each other, two or more people that are having a discussion about something. So these are the five words that can help us better understand our topics for this week. Let's repeat again from numbers 1 to 5. Idioms, idiomatic expression, phrase, important, conversation.
Idioms. At Grammar Songs by Melissa. What is an idiom? More importantly, how can understanding idioms make me a better reader, speaker, listener, or writer? Let's get started. An idiom is an expression that cannot be understood from the meaning of its separate words, but must be learned as a whole expression. What? Huh? Okay, I know that sounds confusing, so let me explain. Idioms are a form of figurative language, which means the words cannot be taken literally or exactly. Literally? Exactly? Let me show you an example. You may have heard someone use the idiom, "It's raining cats and dogs." In a literal or exact sense, this expression would look something like this: "It's raining cats and dogs." But the meaning of an idiom is figurative. The words and meaning don't exactly go together. "It's raining cats and dogs" really means it's raining very hard. People use idioms every day when speaking English without even realizing they are doing so. "These groceries cost an arm and a leg." This can be really tricky for people learning to speak English. An arm and a leg? Maybe I should shop somewhere else. Authors use idioms to communicate a special and precise message to the reader. Famous authors like William Shakespeare used and even created many idioms that we still use today. In fact, it is estimated that there are at least 25,000 idioms used in the English language today. Oh no! Yikes! How will we ever learn them all? Relax. I don't think any one person actually knows all of them. The important thing is to understand that the words used in an idiom are not literal. They mean something else. Practice your understanding of idioms in real life when you read, "You are the apple of my eye." Watch TV, "I'm glad you didn't get cold feet." And especially when you listen and speak to others at home and other places, "This game is coming down to the wire." May we practice now? Sure. Can you make it rain cats and dogs again? That was fun. Not this time, but I've got some other ideas. Let's explore the meanings of some of the more common idioms you may encounter on a daily basis. This cupcake is out of this world. So a literal interpretation of these words would cause you to believe that a cupcake is floating around in outer space. Hey, come back here! But of course, idioms are a form of figurative language. "This cupcake is out of this world" really means, "This cupcake is delicious! Yum!" That was silly! Let's practice again. Okay, let's practice again. I am going to toss my cookies. A literal understanding of these words would make you believe that someone is going to throw cookies up in the air. Woohoo! What's going on in here? I just baked those! But idioms aren't literal, they are figurative. "I'm going to toss my cookies" really means I am going to be sick, or I'm going to throw up. "We hope he feels better." Thanks, so do I. Next we have, "You're driving me up the wall." A literal interpretation would look something like this: "Help! Let me out!" But an idiom isn't literal, it is figurative. "You're driving me up the wall" really means you are irritating me. So remember, idioms are a form of figurative language. The words in the expression have a different meaning when put together. The best way to learn idioms is to practice them in real life when you read and listen, and to use them when you speak and write. That was a piece of cake! Aho now! I'm glad it was easy for you. You are doing a great job using idioms. Thank you for joining me at Grammar Songs by Melissa. Enjoy other videos about related topics at grammarsongs.com.
Now, class, let us discuss about idioms. So, idioms are phrases which people use in everyday language, which do not make sense literally, but we understand what they mean. Idiom is a phrase or group of words that has a specific idea that is different from its direct, literal meaning. Studying idioms is important in learning conversational English. Example, there might be a pop quiz, so stay on your toes. What do those have to do with quizzes? So this person used an idiomatic expression and the other person did not understand what this person wanted to tell him or her. So stay on toes means to stay on your toes means to stay alert or stay focused. Idioms. So it is an expression that doesn't exactly mean what the words say. Like, for example, she spilled the beans. So when you say beans, class, this is some kind of a food that we eat. And spilled means you are holding something and then you accidentally let go of it. So in English, idiomatic expression, this means she talked too much and told the secret. So this sentence is very much different with its meaning because this sentence is an idiomatic expression.
Sylvia, you look out of sorts. Is something wrong?
I hate school.
I'm sorry you're upset, honey. Penny for your thoughts? I'm here to lend an ear if you need one.
High school is so tough. All the other kids do better than me. I don't want to cry over spilt milk, but my math grade dropped from an A- to a B+ last semester. This semester, I had hoped I would do better, but I can't hit the mark. I got a C- on my last test. To top it all off, I have too many homework assignments and not enough time.
Sometimes, when you're having trouble learning, you have to go back to square one. You can't get better in math if you haven't mastered the basics.
I already know the basics, Mom. You're just adding fuel to the fire right now.
I'm sorry, honey. I know you're upset. Why don't you tell me more about it? I'll try to just listen.
Well, there's this girl in my math class, Cassie. She gets an A on everything. She knows the answer to every question. She makes me feel like I'm not good enough. I always have butterflies in my stomach when the teacher asks me a question. I feel like the teacher puts me on the spot. Then, if I get a question wrong, I get made fun of by the other students.
Does the teacher know that they do that?
I don't think the teacher knows, and I'm not going to tell her. That would just be going out of the frying pan and into the fire. She might stop the other kids from teasing me in class, but they would find other worse ways to pick on me.
I'm sorry, honey. You shouldn't listen to their teasing. I know it doesn't feel good, but it's okay to make mistakes. It's part of learning. I hope those kids in your class come to their senses and realize that.
My history classes are so stressful too. I'm always on pins and needles waiting to get my tests back. I can't seem to pull myself together. My last history exam, I barely finished in the nick of time. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I got at least a B-. I don't know how Nancy always manages to get A+ at history. I would be over the moon if I got her grades. I wish I were as smart as her.
Honey, I don't want to beat around the bush, so I'll get straight to the point. It sounds like you're comparing yourself to the other students. If you keep doing that, you'll go out of your mind. In a nutshell, I think you need to focus on doing your own personal best.
Well, I just feel like I'm always in the dark about how to do well in my classes. When the teacher gives an assignment, I feel like the ball is in my court. I burn the midnight oil trying to complete the assignment. Thankfully, I'm a night owl, or else I would probably be failing my classes. Somehow, I always seem to run out of time when I feel that it should be like shooting fish in a barrel.
Sometimes you need to ask someone to lend a hand to help you get back on your feet. We can get you a tutor, or you can find a friend to study with. You don't have to figure it out all on your own. And who knows, maybe this situation is a blessing in disguise.
How could my trouble in school be a good thing? It feels like I'm a failure.
You're not a failure, honey. You are the apple of my eye, and I'm very proud of you. No one expects you to do everything perfectly. You're doing your best. That's all that matters. You work hard, and you should feel good about your performance in school. This situation gives you the chance to turn over a new leaf and think differently about yourself. You are smart, and you don't need to compare yourself to others.
What do you mean? That grades don't define me?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. You can see that you are worth more than your grades. You can try to stop being so hard on yourself.
Thanks, Mom. I'll try to let it go and not worry about it so much. Your support is music to my ears.
I'm glad you feel better, honey. I'm here for you, and I believe in you. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Class, let us study the different types of idioms. Number 1, verb phrase. Take advantage of something means make good use of something. And next, get nowhere means make no progress or have no success. Number 2 is prepositional phrases. Example, in that case, in charge of somebody or something. Used to say what you will do something. Having control or command of somebody or something. Number 3 is noun phrases. Example, a piece of cake, meaning a thing that is easy to do. Number 4, saying proverbs. Example, better late than never, meaning it is better to arrive late than not at all. Number 5, fixed phrases with 2 keywords, usually joined by and or or. Example, bright and early, more or less. Bright and early meaning early in the morning, more or less means almost or approximately. Number 6, idiomatic phrasal verbs. Example, get through to somebody, laugh something off. Get through to somebody means make contact with somebody by phone. Laugh something off means joke about something to show you think it is not serious or important. And the last one is exclamations or short-spoken phrases. Example, don't ask me, meaning used to say that you don't know the answer to something. And thank heavens means used to say that you are pleased and relieved about something. So these are different types of idioms. Now class, let us discuss about the uses of idioms. Number 1, why we use idioms. We use idioms to talk and express ourselves. We use idioms to express ourselves in different ways. Sometimes it's fun to mix things up and do or say things differently. And actually, class, the people who use idioms or idiomatic expressions can be very fluent in English. Why do we learn idioms? To improve our level of English and to understand native speakers because most of them use idiomatic expressions in saying something or talking to someone. And the third one is, why do authors use idioms? Idioms are used to add description to writing. Idioms are used to help the reader form a vivid mental image. So there are more uses of idioms class, but we are just going to focus on this one because it is related to studying English as a second language. And I want you to know the importance of knowing idioms and, of course, how to use them.
An idiom is a phrase or a group of words that has metaphorical meaning which gives life to a conversation. Let's see some of them. Raining cats and dogs means it's raining a lot. No one knows the precise source of this expression. The most probable source is the fact that dead animals and other debris were sometimes washed up in the streets after heavy rain. Example:
It's raining cats and dogs today. Good thing I have my umbrella.
Hold your horses means hold on, stop. That's an expression from the old times when people used wagons or carriages. And when they needed to keep them under control, they would need to literally hold the horses back from running. Example:
Hold your horses, Grandma. That's probably fake.
Piece of cake is something very easy to do. Originated from slaves doing a dance called cakewalk, a dance made to look effortless. Slave owners would sometimes reward the best performer with a piece of whole cake. Example:
This math equation is a piece of cake.
a storm in a teacup is an overreaction to something not so important. The first mention here is from 1838, when the Scottish novelist Catherine Sinclair wrote a novel that said, "As for your father's good-humored jest being never taken up as a serious affair, it really is like raising a storm in a teacup." Example:
She's making a storm in a teacup over the fall.
Kick the bucket. Kick the bucket means to die. This term is derived from when suicides were common by a person preparing to hang himself and used the bucket to stand on, and then kicked the bucket. Nowadays, the expression is used in any kind of death situation. Example:
Did you know my kicked the bucket last week? He died in a car accident.
If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next time.
Now, class, these are some examples of sweet idioms. You can use it with your friends when talking to them, or you can use it with people close to your age. So, let's read some examples. A piece of cake means very easy. Easy as a pie means very easy. Giving candy to a baby means very easy, especially when you do something wrong. Fruitcake, really strange, crazy, a kind of serious word. Going bananas, becoming crazy, especially with too much to do. Nuts or nutty, funny kind of crazy, usually makes you laugh. And the last one that we have is sugar and spice. Very sweet, nice or kind, feminine. It's usually used for girls. Now, class, I'm going to read to you some examples of idioms and its meaning. And these examples are very good because it also show us how to use this idiom or idiomatic expressions in a sentence. Number one, once in a blue moon meaning happens very rarely or like it happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Example, once in a blue moon I go to the cinema, only when there's a film I really, really want to see. Next, action speaks louder than words, meaning to emphasize what you do is more important and shows your intentions and feelings more clearly than what you say. Example, Team USA is not expected to win, but they believe actions speak louder than words. Next, cry over spilt milk, meaning when you complain about a loss in the past. Example, don't cry over spilled milk. Lots of people don't pass their driving test the first time. Next class, it takes two to tango, meaning actions or communications need more than one person. Example, we will never reach an argument or agreement unless we sit down for a discussion. It takes two to tango. Next, getting a taste of your own medicine, meaning being treated the way that you have been treating others. Don't be rude to others. You won't like it when you get a taste of your own medicine. Speak of the devil, meaning something you say when the person you are talking about appears unexpectedly. Example, did you hear what happened to Anna yesterday? Oh, speak of the devil. Here she is. Straight from the horse's mouth, meaning reading or hearing something from the source. Example, I don't believe it has his living. I'm going to go to him and hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Costs an arm and a leg, meaning something that is overpriced or very expensive. Example, the show is excellent but the tickets cost an arm and a leg. And the last one that we have, cutting corners, meaning not performing a task or duty correctly in order to save time or money. When the boss found out that the accounting department was cutting corners, they fired them all. So I hope you guys learn about these idiomatic expressions because the meaning were given and examples were given as well on how to use these idiomatic expressions in a sentence. Class, for the summary of the topic, so we have discussed about idioms. Idioms are phrases which people use in everyday language which do not make sense literally, but we understand what they mean. So these are common English idioms. Far cry from, very different. Take it easy, relax, rest. Piece of cake, easy or simple. On the ball, be alert, active. Once in a blue moon, somewhat ill or gloomy. Hit the sack, go to bed. Up in the air, not yet finished. Go bananas, to become extremely angry. In touch, in contact, or in communication. Whole 9 yards, everything. A thumbs up. That's good. I hope you learned something about idioms and idiomatic expressions. Class, for your activity about idioms, link for the live worksheet is in Google Classroom. Please answer the activity and click finish. Click check my answers and screenshot your score and upload in ESL album in your line group. So this is what your activity looks like. So this is idioms vocabulary. So these are your choices. You are going to write the correct phrase on the blank to complete the sentences. After you finish from A to O, which is numbers 1 to 15, you click finish, click check my answers, screenshot your scores, and upload in social studies album in your line group. Good luck, everyone! So class, we now come to the end of our online learning discussion. I hope that you have learned something about idioms, idiomatic expressions, the importance of it, the uses of it, the different types of it, as well as how to use it in a sentence. If you have any question, comment, suggestion, or anything that you want to say to Miss MJ, please feel free to call me or send me a message in line, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you very much.